Pomp, circumstance, and controversy. A video shows a University of Florida faculty member grabbing and pushing minority students off stage during graduation this weekend.
And that video, boy, has it gone viral. And tonight, the president of the University of Florida is apologizing for what happened. Hani Rodriguez is live in Gainesville. And Hani, the students say they were dancing in celebration.
That's exactly right, Heather. I spoke to two of those students they say they were pushed off stage. They tell me they were simply celebrating their achievements, but instead they tell me they felt targeted because of their skin color. And now the university has apologized, but they tell me that just is not enough.
Personally calling to apologize to each one of those because they were physically constrained and physically rushed across the stage.
This was an apology the university's president left in several students' voicemail following Saturday's graduation.
It's too little, too late. All the powers that be at the university were sitting on the stage at the moment that happened, and not one thought to stop. The marshal said, hey, that's a little bit too much.
This video shows Oliver Talusma and other students dancing in their caps and gowns as they walked across the stage. They are then grabbed and shoved off the stage by a faculty member.
We do not know who he is. His identity hasn't been revealed to us, and we also haven't received any formal apology from him as well.
Nafisa Atta was another African-American student that says she was pushed off stage. In this video, you can see her cap falls off during the incident.
I've never been touched by anyone, let alone an older man like that, so it definitely was, a little degrading.
There was shock and disappointment that, we're still being treated like this in 2018.
Both graduates told me the dances they plan on doing have symbolic meaning in their fraternities and sororities. More than a dozen students were also reportedly rushed off stage.
We were handled extremely aggressively, and nobody else was handled in that manner.
It wasn't anything that I wanted for my graduation day and how I wanted to remember it. I definitely was criminalized on the stage and treated as a criminal.
Now, university officials tell me they have not yet released the name of that faculty member, but the incident is under review. And in the meantime, faculty and staff are not to touch any of the graduates on stage. For now, reporting live in Gainesville, Florida, I'm Hani Rodriguez, First Coast News on your side.